Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I'm Shima and today I'm going to do another sketchbook tour. If you haven't already watched the other video that I did for another sketchbook tour, go and check that out. I'll put the link above. But this sketchbook, it's going to be different. The styles are going to be different. This is a watercolor sketchbook, 300 grams. And I've decided to use mixed media in this sketchbook. And I'm really excited to show you guys how this sketchbook turned out. So as you can see, the whole cover is designed by myself. And now let's just check the sketchbook. And I'm so excited to show you guys. So as you can see, the first page, I've tried color pencil with some watercolors, mixed media for the background, and all of these characters that I wanted to practice are done with color pencil. I use Prismacolors and they're kind of oily, so because the paper had some texture, you can see all those grains on these paintings. If you have been familiar with my style, you know that I really like to use vibrant colors, so the reason I've done this is because of that. The next page, I've decided to paint some cats with watercolors, and I didn't use any other medium for this page. It's all just watercolors, and I have never done this before, so I was excited to try something new, and this is the result. The next page also, I used watercolors with color pencils on some of these paintings, as you can see, and these are all watercolors as well. For this page, I was really excited because I tried something new. This one was done firstly with pencils. I did the whole sketching, rendering, and shading with pencils. And then I used some fixative to not let the pencils just get smudged. And then I used liquid watercolors on top of this, and I did all these effects with watercolors. I really like this painting, so I also made a print available on my website. You can check that out as well. So the next page, these ones are all watercolor. For this painting, I've decided to use the same technique that I've done with this one, but this time I did less of a sketching and I focused more on the effects with watercolor and gouache. So as you can see, the colors are thicker and the layers are thicker. So for this effect, I use gouache. This one also, I have used watercolors and I've tried not to use any other medium. I just used some markers for the whites and that's all. And this one also, I made the print available on my website. For this page, actually, I wanted to get a little bit out of my comfort zone and try some new things. So this one is watercolor with gouache, and the whole design was something a little bit more experimental than my usual style. So this is the result. For this page, I also wanted to draw something different. You know, mostly I draw portraits, but I wanted to challenge myself, and this is the result. I did an urban design and I used some waterproof ink and watercolors for this one, and these are all purely done by watercolors. This page also, I've used watercolors and gouache and some inks for the outlines, and this was also something that I was really excited to try. So here are the results. So as you can see, I've tried to use different elements, different shapes to make the page more interesting. On this page, I've decided to paint Emma Stone from the movie Poor Things. I've done this with gouache and some watercolors. And for this page, I wanted to create something a little bit different, so I used a little bit of abstract elements on this painting, and these are done by markers, watercolor, acrylic gouache, so it's purely mixed media. This page is done by alcohol markers, and I did these backgrounds with acrylic gouache, and I used some Posca markers as well. And for this page, I've decided to use gouache, and I achieved all of these effects with the gold gouache that I had, and it was really nice for me to use that because I really love gold color. So yeah. These two pages I've done with oil painting, and I've never done this before in my sketchbooks. So before I applied the oil, I put some gesso and I put the oil painting, and then later on when it was all dried, I used some Posca markers for these effects and for the shapes. These two pages were all done by alcohol markers and color pencils. So I wanted to challenge myself to practice some portraits of teenagers and young kids, and this is the result. These two pages were actually done when I was traveling to Savannah and Miami. These are all done by ink and watercolor and acrylic gouache. As you can see, I've used watercolor and also ink for this one, and I wanted to try some still life subjects. These are all done by acrylic gouache and some watercolor markers that I had, and I used the ink again for the outlines. This page is also done all by watercolor and some acrylic gouache, and for this one I've just used my acrylic gouache. As you can see, the colors are very solid, and I really love this painting, to be honest. I think it's one of the best paintings in this sketchbook, and I've also made the print available for this painting as well, so you can check that out. This page was also done by watercolors and some gouache. I wanted to try something a little bit more abstract for the background, so this is how it turned out. For this page, I've also decided to use my watercolors, my liquid watercolors mostly I've used for the background. As you can see, the colors are really vibrant, and also I've done all of these effects, the outlines with ink, and these are some of them are done with acrylic gouache to get this solid effect. Next one, I wanted to just be free and I put some colors first without any drawings, and then I've decided to make some shape out of it, and this is the result. But for this one, I wanted to try something a little bit more realistic, and this is done by gouache. As you have seen before, I've painted some kids and teenagers, and this time I've decided to do the opposite. I wanted to challenge myself to draw some portraits of older people and all those beautiful lines on their faces, and all of it is done by acrylic gouache, so I could apply some layers for the skin and the background. So yeah, for this page I've decided to do a drawing from animals again, and I've painted them with acrylic gouache. And for this one I've used acrylic gouache and watercolor, and I did some color pencil on top of this painting. For this page, I've used watercolors and some ink for the outlines and some on her face. And for this page also, I've used acrylic gouache for the background and some watercolors, and I used the ink again for the outlines as well. So the last page, I wanted to challenge myself to draw some figure drawings and some portraits, so I mixed all of those. And for the background, I've also used my liquid watercolor because they're really vibrant, so I've used that, and I did some of these effects with Posca markers. I use ink, watercolor, acrylic gouache for these pages as well. And this is the last page, and I hope you guys enjoyed this sketchbook tour video. And this whole sketchbook actually took me around 8 months to finish. I started this sketchbook on 16th of November 2023, and I finished it on 24th of July on 2024. So this is all of those drawings that I've done. I was actually busy with other projects, that's why I couldn't finish this sooner. but I'm really glad that I could finish it, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and stay creative.